enter one of those Memorial Day stakes. Yeah, she's earned herself a ticket to Kentucky, I think, to run in stakes or somewhere.
Right, but this horse coming in, so take Smash Ticket out of there, and that 11-length win. You look at this horse only was beaten by 3/4 of a length
she
to
ran
one in
really
front
well
of it.
against the real, the mortals in that race.
Closed well in that one. That was a sprint race. I like this horse sprinting versus those route races that this horse has tried. So I take the 5 as my second choice. The 2, Cato's Lady is going to be my third pick. I mean, this horse has hit the board, the last 2 races, finishing second in both of those, coming right out here on our track. This was going to be a little bit shorter than the last 2 races, so we'll see what Cato's Lady can get done here in race number 2.
I've got Cato's Lady third. I'm going to go bottom up on my selections here. I went Cato's Lady third. It's only Money Honey, who makes perfect sense. I mean, her dirt debut was pretty good. I mean, she was 3-1, ran 4th, just kind of went around there, but improved dramatically when moved to the turf and in start number 2. So either she really likes the turf or she just really improved start 1 to start 2. Either one makes her, difficult to contend with. But I'm going to try to beat her with Sinnin' and Grinnin'. That's also Rick Lee's top pick here. This filly showed really good speed on the main track. She stays on the dirt. No surface switch for her. Her last race, she's running her eyeballs out and has Smash Ticket alongside. She's in between horses, battling for the lead. Showed good speed to the quarter pole and was starting to back out of it and had no punch through the lane. But, that's like you and I trying to guard Steph Curry. Eventually we're going to get disgusted and say just go and shoot, And I think that's what happened with her and Smash Ticket. That's why I think Sinnin' and Grinnin' might go better today without a superstar in the field. So I took her on top. On to the third. This starts the 6-shooter tonight. The carryover $2,236. And these non-winners of 2 are going 7 panels, as the cliche goes. I wonder who started saying panels instead of furlongs.
Now, so I'll take number 1, Best Time, as the top choice here in race number 3. Horse was a winner last time, broke that maiden. Did it by a length and 3/4 right out here at this 7-furlong distance on the main track. Putting those things all together, I'm looking for back-to-back victories for Best Time. Second choice will be number 2. That is G Victory. If you look back, this horse has had 5 races in his career. Hits the board quite a bit. In 3 of those 5 races, this horse has finished either first or second. Jansen Melanson on tonight. They call him the Louisiana Kid, getting the mount here.
Do they?
Yeah.
I think they should call him J Money. They call his dad G Money,
right? Yeah.
But it's too close to his dad's nickname.
Kind of separate out a little bit, But I think this horse could have a good run. I mean, this horse showed some good races at Delta Downs. I mean, every time this horse hit the board was at Delta Downs. Broke his maiden last March. Took some time off, got back to the racetrack in January, finished second in a race down there. Most recent one was a second-place finish at Delta Downs as well, just missing by half a length. I think that this horse can have a good run and probably some decent odds tonight. The number 5 is going to be my third choice. That is Raised Before the Flop. Todd Fincher, he's 5 wins out of 12 starts is what I have in my book. I don't remember what he did last night if he had any runners, but that's a pretty good win percentage right there at 12.
Yeah,
I don't know my math, but what is that, like 40%, something like that?
Something like that.
Close enough to it anyway for this show.
40, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, this horse last time out here at Lone Star finished third in a $25,000 non-winners of 2 race. Basically what we're doing here in this one, just missed by 3/4 of a length. The horse that won that race was a next out winner, Horn of Plenty. So I think Raised Before the Flop could have a good run here in the third. And this horse does make it in the winner's circle, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be excited for the sake of my selections because I've got him on top. I didn't really like him on May 13th. I had Horn of Plenty that day, and Horn of Plenty ran a huge race, and then, as you mentioned, came back and won again. But this guy ran a really nice race in that one. That was a really tough win for Horn of Plenty, a gritty win. Since then, he's trained a couple of times well for Todd Fincher. Fincher's good off these little mini layoffs. And if you go 2 races back to Sunland, that Burns DeBoss, the horse that beat him by 9.5, was really, really good at Sunland this spring. And those races have proven to be pretty tough for those Fincher horses and others coming from Sunland. This horse always, is a factor in his races. So I'm going to take him over Best Time. I mean, Best Time is very logical. He just kind of gets a class test here because he's only been running against maidens. And then G Victory, who's Rick Lee's long shot of the day pick. Interesting with G Victory, those Delta races, all of them were around 2 turns because they have a shorter track, and so there's 6.5 furlongs or 2 turns. The one time he ran 1 turn, now granted it was in a tough allowance. He was beaten pretty badly. It was maybe just a coincidence. I'm just curious to see how he likes the 1 turn. 4th race, Texas Breds. This is an interesting race. Now, coming up, we're going to show a race involving Bebop Baby from last time out. But Bebop Baby certainly figures prominently in this one. We both took her 5/8 of a mile Texas Breds. One thing I'll note about Bebop Baby, and this has been a typo that's been corrected, but it's still incorrect in the program. The stretch call for her last time out has the margin incorrect, May 27th. She was second, only a head back of the leader. She didn't drop 4 lengths behind the leader and then come back and win in the stretch. So if you're reading the PPs for the program, she was only a head off the lead on May 27th at the 8th Bowl.
So I took Bebop Baby on top. I mean, I think this horse, when this horse comes out there and has her A game, I mean, she's tough to beat.
Yeah.
I think this race right here, I mean, a win last time out after leading it most of the way around. If you look at that race back at Sam Houston on the 26th of March, a win there, leading it all the way around. Won that one by 5.5. Sandwiched in between was a race where this horse got out there in front and ran well, but had to check and pretty much lost all chances. Finished 5th, but ended up being placed to 4. So the one that caused that interference obviously was placed behind Bebop Baby.
That was a tough race too.
But I think this horse could get out there and run well. I like Bebop Baby here in this spot. Number 6, My Golden Bleen is going to be my second choice. 8-1 on this horse on the morning line. This horse last few races has been on the turf in most of them, but 2 starts back, this horse was in a race out here at Lone Star on the main track at this 5 furlong distance. Really didn't do much that day, but finished 3rd out of a 7-horse field.
3rd to 2 really good fillies.
I mean, Lady A was right there.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for that. Followed that back up in a $20,000 claiming race, finished 2nd by a head in that one. That was on the turf, so going back to the main track today, we'll see what happens. I think this horse can do all right. Seems to like the distance. I mean, if you look at how often this horse has run 5 furlongs, 10 starts, has 3 wins, a couple seconds, and a couple thirds. So that's 70% in the money right there at the distance. I like it. Horse also likes Lone Star Park, 2-2-2 out of 8 starts out here. So this could be one to watch here at some decent odds. The number 1 is going to be my 3rd choice. That's Kitty's Queen down on the inside rail. Was a winner last time out, won that race by a length and a half. You know I love horses that win, especially when I look at those trip notes right there. It said chased and closed well. I love horses that close well and able to pick up the victory. So we're going to see this horse back on the track again today, and should be a nice little stretch run for Kitty's Queen.
Yeah, I like her second in here. Bebop Baby, to me, is possibly the most logical winner on the entire card today. She's fast. They're going to have to catch her. I don't think anybody in this race can go with her early. 5/8 of a mile seems right up her alley. Loves the main track. That doesn't guarantee a win by any stretch of the imagination. But I like her over Kitty's Queen and Miss MJ, who's another one that's fast and is also a Caldwell along with Bebop Baby. So, if Bebop were to falter a little bit, Miss MJ will be there to pick up pieces. Okay, we got video here on the 5th. And the video is going to be a horse I'm not picking on top. But let's set this field up because many of these fillies are in this race. So watch at the lead on the yellow. In the yellow silks on the inside is American Coal Miner. Just outside of her in the blue silks and the white sleeves is Coloratura. So American Coal Miner is the 4 in the yellow. Coloratura is just outside of her. The 10 horse is Good Liquor in the red with the white sleeve. She's in this race. And then Reliant is on the inside. And look how, the 1's going to get up and win this race. But look how much American Coal Miner in the yellow digs in. I mean, she holds off Reliant, who got a rail trip. She held off Coloratura, who had every opportunity to get by her on the outside. And they're all meeting back in this race today, and American Coal Miner has the best speed and has shown it twice in a row. I picked her last time, but I'm not picking her today. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm a little worried she's starting to develop a little. She's always going to be a factor and is kind of a tease. However, I really like her, and I think she's going to be, well prepared by Joe Auffolter for this. But I showed that video because Coloratura and Reliant and some of these other contenders were in there with her, and she beat them all. My pick, though, is WUPCAR, which is an acronym for Wake Up, Pray, Kick Tail. That's not the word they used. And Repeat, which was a motto for a sad story. A high school baseball player several years ago in Louisiana had that motto. He got brain cancer and passed away as like a late teenager. Terrible story. WUPCAR was his motto. Wake up, pray, kick A, and repeat. This filly was a rich 2-year-old in training purchase last year here in Texas. Went favored in her debut at Delta in the fall against Louisiana breds. Now she's got a face opens, showed good speed, is training like a machine for Calhoun. I'm going to take WUPCAR, but wouldn't surprise me if American Coal Miner wins. Oh, you have WUPCAR second.
I've got American Coal Miner first, WUPCAR second, so our top two picks are just kind of switched. I liked American Coal Miner last time. I thought the horse showed a pretty good race there. I like that it was on the turf, and it's staying on the turf at 5/8 today. So I went ahead and took American Coal Miner first, but everything you said about WUPCAR, I agree with. I mean, I love horses making their second start. I would love to have seen this horse have one race now, though, since that layoff of last November.
How she fires off the layoff.
But ran fairly well in that one. I mean, finished second in that race. Like you talked about the workout times, 2 bullets in a row. Yep. Back on the 31st of May, it was only 1 out of 4, but still, you earned that bullet point right there in the program.
If you can break a minute going 5/8 here out of the gate, that's pretty fast. That's like John Sadler, Bob Baffert workout times that you see on the coast when you're going 59 and change here, going 5/8. That's pretty fast.
So, when I saw this horse and saw all that, and then I looked at it and saw Lane Luzie with the mount today for Brett Calhoun. They don't usually team up and ride together very often, but when they do, I'm sure it's a very high percentage. So I think WUPCAR, 8-1 morning line, could have a good run here. And then I took Reliant third, basically off that last race as well with American Coal Miner. I mean, the horse was right there, but it seemed like all the horses were right there in that race. But I think Reliant's a pretty good one. This horse has shown some tendency to get up and hit the board. If you look last year, this horse hit the board in 6 out of 8 starts.
Yeah. She's been second 6 out of 10 times.
It's 6 out of 6 in the money right here at Lone Star Park. Never has picked up that win there. 2 for 2 at 5/8. 3 for 5 on the turf. So, this horse is a money-making machine if you like to bet those win, place, and show wagers. Or I say place and show wagers, not that win one. I hadn't done that one yet. But I think Reliant, with all that experience in being able to hit the board, showing that this horse can take to the turf all right, I think that this could be one that if American Coal Miner falters, that Reliant can get up there and WUPCAR doesn't fire. Who knows? But that's why it's a horse race, and that's why we run them. Exactly. But I wouldn't mind seeing her get up and win tonight.
She's going to get there one of these days. This is a tough field, though. This is, a tough race for a horse that loves to be a bridesmaid to finally break through. We saw last night with Kimbrel Strategy, a perennial bridesmaid, but finally finds a field that, she's able to handle. This, however, is I think a pretty salty group for a horse that might be stuck on seconds. We'll see. We got another movie here for race 6. 6 furlongs here, Texas bred fillies. This is the Texas Ascot Queen Bebop Baby race. And so as they come into the stretch, Texas Ascot Queen is on the outside. Bebop Baby is in the Farmers Fillies Racing Silks on the inside, the white with the blue and black sleeves and the white blinkers. Now, we picked Bebop Baby a couple races ago. Here you see Texas Ascot Queen gets the lead by a head in the upper stretch. And once again, the program margin was incorrect. It's not 4 lengths here in the upper stretch. It's a head. But that's been corrected, and it's correct in the form. But look how these two fillies duel to the wire. Now, Lane Luzie is going to get Bebop Baby up on the inside by a neck. But I still love Texas Ascot Queen's effort there. Third place filly ran a nice race in there as well, Texas Red Bell. And she's in this race as well. But Texas Ascot Queen was coming off a 10 1/4 length win. She was moving in to face a really fast filly and Bebop Baby. She ran huge. I'm taking her right back.
All right. Well, I don't have Texas Ascot Queen in my top selection. I got her in my top 3 now. I went with Rosie Jane. That's the number 5 horse. I mean, this horse is coming off of win last time. The horse showed some speed coming around the racetrack. That was at 7 furlongs, cutting back up to 6 furlongs. And if you notice that last call there, that lead was diminishing as the race got longer. I think shorter is going to be the way for Rosie Jane. 2 starts back, I mean, this horse ran second in the San Jacinto Stakes at Sam Houston. I think there's a lot to like about the 5, Rosie Jane. I'm going to go ahead and pick this horse on top. Second choice, I'll go with number 7. That's Kelly Said Ready, the one from the outside. 4 starts for this horse, has never been off the board, was a winner last time by 2 3/4. Before that, finished third. I mean, was well beaten in that one. Texas Ascot Queen actually won that race. But still, I mean, third place is third place. Before that, a solid win, won by 8.5 to break that maiden. I think Kelly Said Ready. I mean, this horse could run pretty decent here tonight, and it's interesting to see that this horse has 10-1 morning line odds. I think this horse is going to get bit down and probably a little bit less than that. And then the number 3, Texas Ascot Queen, will be my third selection. Second just got outrun last time, but that win before by 10 1/4. Always love large margins of victory, so I will take this horse in my top 3.
And the thing is, on April 29th, I picked against her because I thought she just absolutely spit out a perfect trip. Now, she had a little bit of trouble in the stretch, but I didn't think it was any big deal in that race, the Barrel Ass at Sam Houston. I thought this filly is never going to get a better trip than this. She had a little stretch trouble, yeah, but then I thought she was in a real competitive race here on April 29th. I tried to beat her, and she won by 10 1/4, and then came back last time and ran a pretty good race. So I'm going to stick with her over Rosie Jane, who I've just never really had a good handle on. The times I've liked her, she hasn't performed. The times I haven't liked her, she has. I can't get on the same page with her. And then Texas Red Bell is my third pick. She came on really well last time in that race with Bebop Baby and Texas Ascot Queen. So, 7th race. 7th is a 1.116. It's an A other than allowance event, and there is an extra work for Hearn, the comebacker for Asmussen. Hearn worked on June 14th. So just the other day here at Lone Star, 3 furlongs on a fast track and 37.15 breezing. So for that day, pretty good work. 37.15 breezing for Hearn, who, makes sense, but I picked him second.
I think I got her in second as well. I went with Silver Galaxy. Hey, we're on the same picks here. I like that. Same top 2.
That hasn't happened much today.
No, not much this meet either, really.
No, well.
Silver Galaxy, though, I mean, 3 starts back, this horse was in that Star Guitar Stakes at the fairgrounds. That was restricted to Louisiana breds or state bred race. But this horse had a good body of work in Louisiana. I mean, hitting the board quite a bit. Broke its maiden at fairgrounds last year. The last 2 starts has been right here on our track. Finished third in both of those races. The only 2 starts out for Silver Galaxy at Lone Star Park. I think that this horse could do all right here in this spot. I will take the horse on top over Hearn, my second selection. I'd like this horse a lot better if it didn't have that long layoff from November from Remington Park to here. But, I mean, won 2 races at Remington this last meet. The one sandwiched in between went in the Clever Trevor Stakes. That was a tough one right there. Yeah. But coming off after that and winning that next race at the mile distance by 8 lengths, I like that. But this one tonight, a 1.16. I think coming off that layoff, running a 1.16. Me, I wouldn't want to do it. But Steve Asmussen, that's why he's the pro. They know about these horses and
Steve
find a good spot. Yeah, especially this one was one of those that he had that was training over in Bossier City and then comes here to race today. So
it's not my favorite angle, but he wins with those. Steve wins with everything. This horse came on the track last year when the gun runners were just all firing.
A gun runner horse too,
and he flops at 4 to 5, and then he moderately flops on the turf at 2 to 1. And then he gets hot at Remington, and then he goes to the shelf. So I have no idea what to do with him. But I legitimately like Silver Galaxy because he's a real hard knocker. And he's proved in his last 2 races that he can race against non-Louisiana breds.
Yep.
So that's why I took him, but finish.
That's pretty much the same thing. Question mark on Hearn. If there would be one more start, probably would have picked this horse on top. But since it doesn't have that recent race I'll go with Silver Galaxy. And then my third choice is going to be number 3, Big Power Red. Hey, the last 2 races, this horse got claimed out of both of them, finished second in both of those races. Goes to J.R. Caldwell. He does fabulous work with first-timers out of his barn, so I'll take this number 3 as my third pick here.
And, my third pick is VIP Who, and just the big question, where's he been? Why does Broberg have a horse that was, doing well at Oaklawn? I mean, he had a pretty good Oaklawn season. He didn't win, but he was a good claim down there. He ran 3 seconds in a row, and then he just he plants him in the barn and doesn't work him, doesn't race him. That's a real red flag for me. So, because I've said that.
Straight to the winner's circle.
As Vic Stauffer likes to say, he's standing back there in a stall, and he just went like, whoa, I just picked up about 4 lengths. That's my friend Vic Stauffer does that. When he talks about a horse in the pre-show, he's standing back there going, man, I feel good.
Did you ever watch his earthquake call from Hollywood Park?
Oh, yeah.
My favorite race call in the world.
Class.
I mean, all yours are my favorite, but his is my next favorite.
Yeah, I haven't called a race at an earthquake, though.
I can go up and shake you tonight if you'd like.
Exactly. I've worked at tracks where if you ran across the roof like Los Al, it would feel like an earthquake. But here, it's going to take a lot to shake this building. 8th and final, A Other Than Allowance at 5/8. Scratch the main track only runner, the 10, Macby Quick.
So I've got number 5. Let's Go Alamo as my top choice here. This is a horse that we've seen run out at Lone Star Park 9 times over the years. This year has had 2 starts this meet. The first one this meet wasn't the best, finished 6 of 11 in that one. But the most recent race, I mean, this horse went out there in front, ended up getting caught right at the end by a neck. But I always talk about when I see Stuart Elliott riding these Mindy Willis horses. I point him out on the show every time. They can get together and they can pop on some horses at some decent odds.
20% this year.
Is that where they team up on 20% out here?
Out at this track, 17% overall. So, they're...
Yeah. So that's 1 out of every 5 times I'm going to hit one, right? Let's Go Alamo. Let's get this one in the winner's circle today. This horse has run a ton of times on the turf. 14 of this horse's 16 lifetime starts have been on the turf. Has won 4 of those races, 4 seconds as well. Has done well at the 5/8 distance. I think Let's Go Alamo. I mean, it's a big field. I'm thinking you're going to get some decent odds. 7-2 morning line. I mean, I think that's fair. Hopefully Rick Lee's right on this one, and 7-2. I'll walk up to the windows on this one and place a bet. I took the number 11. I'm a Bling Cat as my second choice here. Coming from the far outside, but this horse has shown some good work. I mean, had a fairly decent year at Oaklawn Park. Picked up 2 victories there in Hot Springs. Came back out here in the most recent race at 5.5. Ran third in that one, missing by half a length. You know what? This horse has only started 1 time on the turf. Didn't go well, didn't finish in the top 3, but we'll see. Carl's got a reason to put this horse back on the turf tonight, so we'll see what gets done with I'm a Bling Cat. And then I took the 7 DC Hero as my third selection. I mean, this horse has finished third in 2 out of the last 3 races. One of them right out here on our track at this 5 furlongs on the turf course. That was the most recent race. I'll go ahead and take number 7 DC Hero to wrap up my picks here tonight.
I picked him last time at 4-1. I thought maybe it was a super wide open race with Baloo's Gold and Golden Ale, and once again, he didn't break. So if DC Hero ever breaks, he can beat these guys, but he's having a lot of trouble getting out of the gate or getting out of it straight. I took Golden Ale, the 6 in here. Frank Lucarelli, he hasn't had as high profile a meet as he had last year here when he was super. Last time, I don't know how this horse lost. I went back and watched the replay, and you're watching this race, and I mean, Baloo's Gold tagged him right on the wire. I mean, the margin was ahead, but I mean, it was absolutely a desperate zop right on the wire, and you're like, how did this horse possibly not win? I think the positive on that is he ran a super race last time. He's had a little bit of time off. He's worked since, got a good number for that race, seems to like the course, quick enough to compete. So I took Golden Ale over Jackman's Ride, who is Rick's pick in this race and who is a horse I really fear. I think Harry Craddock could have a good night because I think that Cola earlier in the card could run big too. This horse has proven he can fire fresh. He fired fresh off a layoff in May here and had a really nice win on this course. And then Let's Go Alamo's my third pick. Kind of broke my heart last time. I picked him and Robo beat him, and he ran a nice race. I don't know if I picked him or Bobby Brinkley. Actually, I think I picked Bobby
you probably
Brinkley.
picked Bobby Brinkley. You seem to pick Bobby Brinkley quite a bit.
But I don't know why. I mean, I picked
one of those names
day.
that sticks out in my head every time I see Bobby Brinkley. I'm like, oh, yeah, Jim. You picked that
Well,
horse.
I picked him last time, and I said,
anyway.
well, I'm worried that he's won his annual race because he won one race in 19, one race in 20, and he already run one race in 21, and that turned out to be prophetic because he didn't win that race. But nonetheless, Let's Go Alamo's a factor every time he runs. He's just got to face opens here and not Texas breds, but he could do it. That's a good way to wrap up the card. All right, I think we're a little over. Well, not really. I think that's it for us tonight. Enjoy the races. Good luck. And I guess Rick will be in tomorrow, huh?
That's right.
So we'll talk to you again next week. All right, for Rodney Nelson, I'm Jim Byers. Thanks for looking in, and good luck on your Friday.
Home here at Lone Star Park at Grand Prix. Sellers' third victory in tonight's NTRA All-Star.
Coming down to the finish, Singletary to catch, Antonius Pius veers.
Middle by Jerry Bailey and Kieran fell on the outside. Jerry Bailey goes to the lead, gets the head in front and remains perfect this year.